New home sales at lowest level in 12 years. Washington. The housing market plunged deeper into despair last month, with sales of new homes plummeting to their lowest level in more than 12 years. The slump worsened even more than most analysts expected, heightening fears the country might be thrust into recession. New home sales tumbled 9% in November from October to a seasonally adjusted annual sales pace of 647,000, Commerce Department reported Friday. That was the worst sales pace since April 1995. It was very ugly, declared an economist at Argus Research. It is the one sector of the economy that doesn't show any signs of life. It doesn't look like there is any resuscitation in store for housing over the next year at least. The housing picture turned out to be more grim than most anticipated. Many economists were predicting sales to decline by 1.8% to a pace of 715,000. By region, sales fell in all parts of the country except for the West. In the Midwest, new home sales plunged 27.6% in November from October. Sales dropped 19.3% in the Northeast and fell 6.4% in the South. In the West, however, sales did rise 4%. Over the last 12 months, new home sales nationwide have tumbled by 34.4%, the biggest annual slide since early 1991, and stark evidence of the painful collapse in the once high-flying housing market. I think you can classify what we are seeing in the housing market as a crash, said Mark Zandi, chief economist at moodyseconomy.com. Sales and home prices are in a free fall. The downturn is intensifying. The median sales price of a new home dipped to $239,100 in November. That is 0.4% lower than a year ago. The median prices were half sell for more and half for less. To me, that's a very high price for the median price of a house. Perhaps it has something to do with things getting to be too costly, too expensive in this country. Perhaps there's a limit to how much things should cost. Kind of like with metals or with copper. Something on that order. The median on Wall Street, the Graham Home Sales Report added to investor angst. The Dow Jones Industrials were off 40%, or 40 points in afternoon trading. Would-be home buyers have found it much more difficult to secure financing, especially for jumbo mortgages, those exceeding $417,000. The tighter credit situation is deepening the housing slump. Unsold homes have piled up, which will force builders to cut back even more on construction and look for ways to sweeten the pot to lure prospective buyers. The chances of a recession have increased to more than 50%, some economists say. The housing and mortgage meltdowns have raised the odds that the country will fall into a recession. And the situation has given Democrat and Republican politicians, including those who want to be the next president, plenty of opportunities to spread the blame around. The risks are as high as they've ever been during this expansion that started in late 2001 that the economy will fall into recession. The odds are now nudging up close or more than the 50% mark, said another economist. Yes, this is not a good sign with the economy or for real estate. No, the United States is in some trouble financially, and probably more ways than that even. Many ways, huh? Anyway, these are more signs of the last days, and there are many of them.